All right, welcome back everybody after lunch break. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Woo! Okay, we can use a bit more energy, but I think that's going to happen. I joined forces with the 4 musketeers of the robotics industry, representatives from startups and one scale-up, I would say. 600 employees, that counts for a bigger one than a startup, but they're all quite new in the business, but made their way into the Hall of Fame already. As yesterday, we start first with questions which kind of touch upon the topic of startups and the importance of them. Customer demands, we'll talk about cognitive robots, platforms, which definitely are a big topic here. Digital twins and connectivity are part of this conversation, talking about Germany and Europe and the force from outside, and the vision, obviously, the way we want to walk upon for the future. And with that, I'm just waiting for everybody to sit down and fully focus on what's happening here. I have to say, you might think, well, you announced David this morning from Neura. Yes, David has run through a transformation. He turned into his chief of staff, who really super spontaneously confirmed that he would replace David in this panel discussion, as David could not make his way back from the US. His flight got delayed. So thank you, first of all, for being so super spontaneous and jumping in here and being willing to answer these questions here. And before I start introducing all of you, I'd love to have all of you introduce yourself and kind of bring some bit of information into what you're doing and what you're focusing on and what you're specialized in.
Okay, thank you so much, and sorry that I'm not David, I'm Alex, I'm chief of staff. With a bit of running, I made it in time here. Okay.
The gong is late.
The gong is late. The session starts now. Now I'm chief of staff. One quick adjustment, we're not 600, we are growing too fast. We are now over 1,100.
You gotta be kidding me, that was information from this morning research.
Yeah, from this morning research. We are updating.
Chief of staff.
Yeah. I'm not taking care of our personal stuff. Most of my time is leading the CEO office. And in the CEO office, we have 2-3 major topics. The biggest one is growth. So I take care of strategic partnerships, and I lead the international teams, so from China to US, and also processes within the company. That's quickly to us.
Okay, great, thank you. Coming all the way from Metzingen, from
Munich.
the Ländle.
From the Ländle.
Oh, from Munich even.
From Munich.
Wonderful. Yeah. Okay, Paul, we know you already, but talking about the heart and the passion for robotics, we're going to give it another introduction.
Sure, yeah. One of the co-founders of RobCo. My background is more from the technical side there, so one of the technical co-founders, made a bit my way through the company itself, with by now being our head of robot engineering, being a bit in our customer value engineering, where we do the end-to-end solution providing for our customers, and kind of jumping there back and forth and being pretty keen about the future, what the future holds for us regarding robotics and AI.
Everybody is.
I bet so, yeah.
Thank you. Okay, and Stephan, some insights from you.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thank you. I'm Stephan. I run product management and software engineering at Wandelbots. Wandelbots was founded in 2017 as a startup coming out of the TU Dresden, which is also where we are located. We're now 120 people, have gone through different product iterations in the history of the company, and have always had the vision and mission around democratizing and making robotics easier for everyone, and build a software platform to do that.
And what I really liked in the conversation in the beginning, you don't have a technical background. So that's also, you always think of the geeks who started with mathematics from the early kids years onwards. No, you are business scientist.
Yeah, well, I have a business degree by training, but I've worked all my career in product management or product engineering for software platforms, and we're bringing that to robotics now, so that was a pretty good fit for me.
Great, thank you. And Jens.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Jens Kotlarski, founder, CEO of Voraus Robotic. I'm a tech nerd. So I studied mechanical engineering, did my PhD in robotics, founded my first tech company in 2012, where I did technology transfer from research to industry, so more or less creating products from technical proofs or from papers. Founded a second company 2017 where we did collaborative robots with human-like sensors. I left university in this context in order to focus on my startups. And today I'm, as mentioned, founder, CEO of Voraus Robotic, where we, simply said, built the Android of automation. Whatever it means, I guess we will dive deeper into this category.
Looking forward to that. So thanks, first of all, for being here, for being brave enough to pretend you're the musketeers in this industry. And seems like you're the dinosaur in the startups scene here on stage.
Because of my age? Or?
No, in regards of expertise. Oh, you got that wrong, Jens, you got that wrong. But maybe, I'm not sure. No, but you got the expertise, and it's very interesting to connect it to my first question. You're the only startup who is not venture capital funded. Is there a reason because of bad experience or because of the willingness to make it on your own or a financial background?
It's quite a complex answer, maybe. So first of all, I'm not against VC capital, not at all. If it's seriously, if it's like injected at the right time for the right purpose, it totally helps to accelerate. So regarding me, like my first startup, or it was not even a startup, it was simply said a company, because like the name startup, I don't know when it was first mentioned, was bootstrapped. Yeah, today said it was bootstrapped. So project-based, creating own IPs and assets and so on and so further. And it seems that it works. So if you, again, spend your time with the right topics, with the right people around you, then it works, creating a sustainable, economically successful company. Within my second company, like the Joanna Robotics, I kind of raised a couple of millions. Why? Because we had the need to establish a production in China, for example, to order components for several thousands of robots. So you need kind of cash in order to finance your roadmap. Today, we are software only. Yeah, luckily, we are in a privately good position to invest some private money to start our journey, me and my two co-founders. So we are our own investors, I would say. Last year, we planned to raise capital, and we had some seriously good term sheets even on the table, but we decided, no, let's continue on our own, because as mentioned, for me, it's of great value to stay independent as long as you can and seriously take the right timing to partner with the right VC, like not bringing just money, but bringing experience in this and that area, this and that field into the company. But the timing is so important because, having VC money does not necessarily need that you can establish a sustainable business in the world, a globally leading business. It can even, if you do it wrong, destroy your company. And this is what every founder should know. But again, VC money helps a lot to accelerate. But as long as your company is not blocked or limited or slowed down, go ahead on your own. It's even it makes somehow proud even, yeah. Mm-hmm. Makes somehow proud.
Well, great. So the right timing. The right timing, I'm looking to Paul now. It seems like you had the right timing to start with your business, to start with your idea, to bring it to the table, to talk to industries, since RobCo has grown incredibly fast in these past years, and hundreds of robots on the floor, with an office now recently opened in the US.
Yes.
Looking back into all this, I think you said 2020, 5 years
yes,
you're active
exactly,
right
yeah.
now. Could you describe when was the key turning point when you actually realized this vision of yours is really turning into something big?
not that easy, but I think I have a part of a moment in mind. When we started off RobCo, to call it differently back then, I think we were quite naive and thought we had this idea of, okay, modular industrial lightweight robot, putting it together like Lego, everyone's going to take it apart, putting it back together. And it was a somewhat differentiator, and it was a good starting point and kind of seed point to get a company going. We got good feedback. But we also very quickly realized that our customers, they don't want robots. They especially don't want modular robots and take them apart on their own and put them back together on their own. What they want is a piece of metal to fly into a machine and to fly out of that machine again. And that was actually pretty early on the first turning point when we saw, okay, no, we need to provide end-to-end solutions. And leveraging the knowledge and the robots we already developed so far for that and making that a sustainable business. And I think the point when I realized, okay, now we're getting somewhere where the whole thing makes sense, where we actually provide values. About 3 years ago, when we had our first customers who we provided with robotic cells said, okay, yeah, we're going to order another one. This is not a one-trick thing. It's I believe in this. It gives me actual value. So let's continue this journey. And it was kind of also the same time when Sequoia joined us as a venture capital fund, which also meant that there's people out there, also people who've seen quite a lot out there, giving us, telling us that they believe in the same thing with us and want to go the journey with us. And that was, I think, the moment when I said, okay. This is not a playground anymore. This is now taking off and going somewhere.
Something serious.
Exactly, yeah.
Thanks. Alex, ambitious visions, definitely here. Everybody has them. And it's not visions anymore. You guys are really in the focus of that industry, especially with David also being present in many panels and so on. What's the one area where you would say that the robotics industry has definitely surprised you, positive or negative, in the past months?
A very good question. So 2 years back when I started, I have a complete different background. Not a robotics engineer, I was a founder also. And I quit my startup because I believed in the vision. So David sold me a vision which was, I think, yes, that's achievable, but it's completely crazy. And the last 2 years showed me that robotics and this field can be crazy, even here in Germany. There is so much going on right now. And it surprised me really coming out of this in this field as a, let's say, new joiner, that you see very old systems. There's an old German industry structure, very conservative. Our KMUs are not willing to invest money. Then there are some big corporates who want to go in there, but suddenly there are ROI discussions in the future. They are stopping there. So I was like, we have solutions in there. They're 80–90% done. But here in Germany, we are not willing to do something against it. It was, as someone with an economics background, it's like, yeah, but if you want to succeed in the future, then you have to invest and learn more. And now coming back to the second point, now I realized a lot of new companies are willing to do this step. 2 years ago, no one. There were just a few, and now everyone is catching up, and we are seeing, okay, there's interest there, but still some doubts about this field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, doubts about the field. Stephan, when you started, AI was not such a big topic yet. It was there, but how much will it change the industry?
So I think we're looking at this year especially, or the last 6 to 12 months, you can see and feel that things are starting to change and shift. And I think that has a lot to do with what we see happening with AI, with the capabilities that become stronger and better. And I think this is triggering a fundamental shift in how the entire industry thinks about robots and robotics. We heard it also in some of the presentations. It was about deterministic programming, precision, repeatability. And now with the advances that we see also with the first demos and products with humanoids coming on the market, we see, okay, we can move to a different paradigm where we train robots, where we interact with them. And this is then filtering back into traditional automation. And we become more creative how we think about the solutions there. I think one important prerequisite where I also see a mindset shift is the connectedness of robots and cells, right? This was a no-no, right? Factories could not be connected, impossible. It has to be isolated and safe. However, if we want to think about data and AI in the future, this needs to happen. And also there, the mindsets are starting to change. And I think we're entering an era where we start to see robot and automation lines and cells as digital assets that need to be managed with software and AI rather than standalone machines where the software is kind of an afterthought. And I think what is a final thing that is important and that will change and is changing in the automation industry is that software as a component is becoming more important. And that also means that software skills for the people that work in robotics and automation is becoming more important. And we see that companies, automation enablers, system integrators are also starting to invest and hire into that direction.
All right. So we got a clear status of what you're focusing on, where your status is. Now the question is, you definitely are 4 important robotics companies in Germany. And I assume you all have the same challenges, you're dealing with similar problems, but not identical topics on what you're working on. Can you explain where you, or what sets you apart from the others here and also to other competitors who've been dealing in the industry for a long time? Who wants to start?
So this is our 2-minute pitch? Or?
Pretty precise, yeah.
I mean, maybe
Does not need to be long, but
no,
what comes to your
I
mind?
simply start high level and then we can do some ping pong maybe. So, I mean, what we basically do, and we heard some like pains already today and even yesterday, like diversity of different vendors, missing experts, never change your running system and things like that. And all this will have a certain effect on our economy, not just today, but especially in the future. And if we like continue building balconies on existing technologies and robots or software that we have today, we will for sure get an unstable system that we are not able to handle in order to like keep our what is it, like our good life, our economics. So from my perspective, and I know everyone does not like breaking APIs, we need to tidy up the entire automation landscape and bring it to the next level. And therefore, what we do is we created kind of a centralized software stack, not just able to control robots with real-time capabilities, determinism, and so on and so further, but also with integrated PLC functionalities. And basically, it's field buses, single-axis motions, sensors, and so on and so further. So tidy up the entire runtime for automation. This is what we do. Why? Because again, those silos or proprietary solutions from different vendors, this block the market. And today, we are even forced to combine things that are not meant to be combined in order to realize the solution. And this is in an economical perspective not reasonable, not even possible. And to even accelerate it, I mean, we, on top of our runtime, which I just explained, we put kind of the Android Studio. So like IT toolings that you can use and that you enjoy maybe from app development, from the IT sector, software sector, that you now can use in the OT sector down to the real time. And this is super important because, I mean, one is collecting data from your production line, but the other is like bringing it back through the edge device down to the real-time layer in order to seriously profit from AI-driven technologies, data-driven technologies, and so on and so forth. And this is what we do. No hardware, just software. Deploy it anywhere.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much. I mean, I think we all agree that the future there and the differentiator will be the software soon. Also, with other talks here, it's going to be software. It's going to be the AI for us. What differentiates us quite a bit, I think from the others and from our competitors, is this end-to-end approach for building full customer solutions and really going this step, which also is the complex step of building this more individualized automation solution for the customer, of actually bringing the metal part into the lathe and bringing it out again. So just the software layer will not be doing that. There will be other parts, other companies have to be involved. For us, we are the one-stop shop to do that, and we are scaling this and getting this onto a reasonable ROI for our customers by having a control throughout our whole platform, robotics platform, from hardware all the way to the software and the integration layer.
Stephan, what sets you apart? You were nodding when Jens was explaining.
Yes, and I mean, we can speak openly about it. The technology approach, the fundamental one between us and voraus, is not all that different, right? So same idea, integrating into the legacy stacks, making it easier, bringing it onto one software platform that developers can work with. I think where we have definitely developed a USP is the interconnectedness to other advanced software solutions. We have built our stack in a way that it can be seamlessly used in NVIDIA Omniverse as well, so that working with virtualized robots in that environment becomes essentially a digital twin or a mirror of your physical cell. And we also do cooperate very closely with Microsoft when it comes to the data aspect of things. So advanced AI capabilities that Microsoft makes available through Azure can easily be applied to robots as digital assets as well. But I think the fundamental approach to solving the problem of the heterogeneity, we have a similar approach.
Okay. And Alex is nodding as well. I mean, as said, I don't even count you as startup anymore, but you work in the same field. So what's your perspective on that in regards of being different maybe to others?
Yeah, for us, it's also the connecting aspect is really, really important. We started with bringing human-like features into robots, so which we call now AI. But in the end, sometimes you cannot connect something where a human is working because it's a normal standard working place. So you have to start there. But in the end, you have to connect to machines. You have to connect to other robots. So that's really, really important for us. And we believe in the factor, and that's maybe setting us apart. We cannot do it without hardware. So you need to own the hardware to really make that enable. In the end, you will always have 80% done with the software. But what we realize from the market is that the last 20% is always really tough for them to do is with standardized solutions. And so therefore a high flexibility needs to be taken care of. And what Neura, you all see a lot of different hardware functionalities. In the end, it's the same core. So we don't care if it's a humanoid, a robot arm, or mobile manipulator. For us, what you said, the task at hand is really important. While we are not like the integrator, but we want to be a solution provider in that field. But everything what was said is really important, especially the connecting part.
I think this is a good point that we also see emerging in terms of customer requests, is that in the future we will think about robot skills that should be transferable from one form factor or one hardware to another. And that's where software platforms in one form, shape or another we all build become absolutely critical pieces of infrastructure.
Would you see that more as a challenge to solve or more as a big opportunity to solve?
Both. So it's definitely a challenge to solve it, but the opportunity is huge because when we all have that vision that robots should become more omnipresent in our daily lives, for example, or also used for many more tasks than they're used today in industrial setups, being able to describe skills in a very easy way and tell the robot to do that skill will be the unlock for that. Before that, it's hard to imagine a robot running around in your home.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty big in that, with David talking about the humanoid robots, especially in households or elder care that you're focusing on, but that's for sure not the only industry you're looking into.
Industrial humanoid robots are the starting point because you have a structural environment, and the unstructured environment is the hardest one to solve. That's the flexibility I was talking. So, but most cases, everyone who has a factory line knows that humanoids are mainly not the best solution for that. Therefore, have different form factors as well. Wheel-based solutions, which are still tackling multiple tasks, so can be flexible, but are stable, more energy efficient, and stuff like that. So humanoids will be a game changer in the pre-care segment, in the household segment, and for some industry applications, but not for all. We see it in some videos on LinkedIn where humanoids are doing something. Makes not so much sense to do it with humanoids.
Yeah, we had the flip-flop example yesterday, which did not really work so far, but I said if we have real staff doing flip-flops in the office, that's going to be a high medical leave rate as well. So let's talk about challenges which you faced as startups in regards of getting the trust of companies to believe in you, to really go with you and your ideas. Jens, you want to start?
I can, yeah, but maybe just one sentence. I mean, in our ideal world, the inner beauty is the same in each case. Like, because for software, from a mechatronics point of view, it doesn't matter if it's a humanoid, if it's a machine. Anything is turning, anything is measured. You can react in real time, and so on and so further. So these are just like platforms, quite interesting. We have two different approaches here, right? Like the Apple approach and kind of the Android approach, like one-stop shop and components and so on and so further. So I guess it both works, and both ways are worth to be like explored. But coming back to the question, our biggest challenge is, I mean, we are in a market where those players have quite a large footprint. So I simplify my case. There's Siemens selling a lot of PLCs in the market, and I claim my solution is better. But every customer says, yeah, give me a proof. So it's the chicken-egg problem we heard yesterday and today even, I guess. This is basically the biggest challenge of any startup, like doing kind of a conquer in existing markets, because we have to be 10 times better and 10 times cheaper in order to like convince customers and convince the market to go along with us. It works, and it works only, and this is like my DNA or my mindset, if you always under-promise and over-deliver. So I somehow hate shit shows, because it brings you a proof of concept, but it never brings you a scalable business and a seriously sustainable partnership. And this is something we startups have to take care of seriously. And my start.
It's a very good point. In the beginning, always a startup starts with an idea.
Yeah.
And most of the time, everyone says, nice idea, but we don't need it. It doesn't work. And then exactly what you said, you need to prove that an idea is worth exploring, putting money in, putting resources and time in. And that's always what I see. So from Neura to my own startup, it was always the same. Convincing people to do it. And the first steps are always brutal and don't make fun. And if you have the first proof point, suddenly everyone is liking your idea, and then startup makes fun.
But maybe one addition. I mean, it's not only to convince the market, but also to listen, right? I mean, we are quite arrogant, right? We know everything better and so on and so further. But I mean, there is so much knowledge in the market we have to consider and integrate into our products and roadmaps. And the answer is wrong from my perspective. The market doesn't understand what we can deliver and provide. No, we are maybe not on the right track. Maybe in 10 years, yes, but today is a market and a roadmap as well to be considered. I mean, yeah.
I think there's another aspect to this. It's all what you said. It's all about trust building, and especially in a conservative market like this one is, with so many components out there, and also with things like robots. Robots is nothing new. They've been around for quite some time. So when you start in the market with a new robot, it will most likely be definitely less proven, but might also have less functionality which is expected from you. So what we saw in trust building and also the risk averseness in Germany and in the US is they're a bit more leaning towards taking risks, but similar thing there in manufacturing industry is actually from a startup from the beginning is building also personal relationships with customers and being on the people side, talking to people, what you said, listen, and being on their side, working together on what can be this actual one point where you deliver the better value than what there is out there at the moment. And
yeah, I think can totally concur with that. I think it's also just about being conscious about the market that you operate in, right? We know we are in a market and an industry that has a degree of resistance to change, that has a high risk adversity, that has very long test and adoption cycles. And you need to factor that into the way you build your product, into the way you do go-to-market, into the way you set up projects for evaluation and personal relationships, sponsors inside of customers or prospects definitely help. I think to come to the aspect of, do you invest more into attractive showcases or demos, or, then when the proof is actually there and you have to go into production, or is it better to overpromise and underdeliver, or underpromise and overdeliver? It always depends on the situation and who you're talking to. I think for us, we invest a lot into really flashy and attractive booths at trade shows, because we need that to open doors, to get interest, to get people to stop and actually start talking to us. That doesn't mean that we can afford not to deliver when we hit the shop floor. We have to do both. And it's the balance that you have to find. The same with over-promising or under-promising. Depends who you talk to. With a traditional industrial customer, yes, you better under-promise and over-deliver. If you're talking to an investor, maybe it's a different game that you have to play. Right?
No, what are you saying?
Okay, fair point. So talking about what the market needs, we touched upon that a lot, that it's flexibility, scalability, but what about more adaptable robots, what the industry needs, or is it a faster ROI to reach?
So I think it's in the end it's down to money, always. Everyone likes to play around with stuff. If it's less than a couple tens of euros, I like to buy my Lego kit, and if it would be the same price, I would probably buy a robot for my home to play around with it. So and adaptability does play a big role in it. For us, it's a huge role, because we, from our adaptability, from the modularity, from where we came from, are able to get our solutions a bit more versatile, getting a bit more cheap as well. If we can get rid of a module or an axis in a robotic arm, if we can get through the software approach, get delivery times, get implementation times down. But this adaptability in the end is a measure to get RI into a economically feasible zone. There might be use cases which are not feasible without being adaptable to different kinds of varieties of products. So you need adaptability for some use cases, and for actually, I think in future when we get about into AI, AI is all about adaptability, because you can tell the robot, okay, do this, now go do my laundry, and please tomorrow be at 6 in the company and do the assembly task there. So very adaptable. Suddenly you have use cases in various regions, which brings down your RI. In the end, it's about that.
Okay. Any other points here?
Yes.
You can start.
Okay, so I would wish to have the perfect answer for that, but in Germany it's most likely, if you want to go to the market, the first point is ROI. So, I have to do a cash flow calculation. When we want to partner with other companies, we see there are some differences in regions. So there are other regions where the ROI is not like the most important factor, but the adaptability or more the potential if you have high adaptability, is more interesting. So here in Germany, if you're wanting to have the full-blown solution, at least after the third call, there will be a cash flow. Here, please, I want to calculate it. I would wish for a different mindset there, because there's always high potential. Always there's a risk asserted to it. And right now, we are not taking any risks. And we as a startup or scale-up can say that easily, because we want to take risks. We need to take risks. We sometimes have to overpromise and maybe even
not deliver it all.
Not deliver it all. Good point. Yeah, but in the end, right now here in Germany, RI is a big topic.
Okay.
Yeah, but not for like first day discussions. I mean, at the beginning, it's kind of a technical proof. And then everybody is like cheering each other. Woo, we did it from a technical perspective. Our robot can now see, feel, react, and so on and so further. But I mean, this is just a technical proof. At the end, it has to be a business. And I mean, today I have somehow the feeling everyone is forced to use embodied AI, physical AI. It makes sense in so many like applications, yes. Maybe not even existing applications, but especially in like SME and so on and so further, outside industry applications, even in like blue chip company applications. I mean, totally with you, but not in all cases. And I guess we have to be a bit careful, like letting everyone know that if you don't take care of AI, you will die, because this is not necessarily true. I mean, you have to invest or inject AI at the right position in order to clearly have benefits from a business perspective. And if you once have this, then you can seriously roll out the AI and embodied AI, physical AI, simulation, and so on and so further everywhere.
Yeah, but no one wants at the moment an AI to be in pharmaceutical industry and produce your drugs, because if they do something a bit out of the ordinary and learn something new while doing so, might not be where you want to have it.
But still, I mean, we said it's going to change the industry dramatically. And what besides of scalability and flexibility is the speed, what we're talking on.
But I think, for me, you just said something very true, right? There's a certain forced factor behind it as well.
It's a hyper topic.
When we talk about flexibility, scalability, and speed of automation and robotics, to bring it to the next level, to make it faster in companies that already have a lot of automation, to bring it maybe to new companies or sectors like SMBs that haven't automated all that much yet, different platforms will be necessary, as we're all sitting here today working on something in one or the other shape that should bring that in. And I think it's more of if we want to really take that seriously and bring automation and robotics to new markets, to new users, make it faster, make it more flexible, we have to do that with different technologies than we do that today. So there is a certain forced factor in adoption there.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I mean, 100% agree. Maybe my point is, I mean, we have so many like technological proofs, and wow, there is a vision AI solution. And then, okay, what's next? Bring it to the shop floor, link it to existing technologies, and then have fun. Whoa, this is a complex task, right? I mean, vision AI is proven more or less. Yeah, but vision AI, like creating reflexes in robotics, this is not proven and given at all. Why? I mean, we try to cover existing technologies with popping up technologies, like data-driven technologies, and so on and so forth. But we have to tidy up again. We have to tidy up the ground in order to seriously benefit and profit from such technologies we can control today. Yeah, bring it together. Yeah, and I guess this is what equals us.
Yeah, definitely. Now, looking at the time, I have like 10 more questions left here, but it's great to see all that passion from you. Talking about cognitive robots, we touched upon a little bit on it. You put the sensor in there and so on. So we see applications in everyday environments, homes, offices, hospitalities, and so on. But what role do you see, Alex, for them in the automation market, and what are the key factors for adoption in the real world?
Very good question, very long question, but in the end, it's coming to that. Everything, I think, is already said here. So it depends if you need flexibility. if your production process and the automation is not relying on any flexibility, then don't use it. So don't use AI in that. But if you go through factory halls, there's everywhere workers working on 10 to 15 tasks in parallel. You need some flexibility in there, and therefore the adoption of AI is needed. So in short, AI will be needed in different form factors, in different varieties, and there will never be or never is a hard word, there will not be a world model who solves everything. So this AI is doing that. Skills are the solutions for that. You already mentioned that. So if I have a skill for bin picking, if I have a skill for vision detection, everything is right now bit proven, but the connection is missing.
Okay. Yeah. Now, talking about the connection, we have platforms. What about them? How do they come into play? How are they the key to building a robotics platform in regards of enabling today's unsolvable tasks and support continuous learning? What do we do here?
So I think the platforms play a critical role in all of this, coming back to what I said before, that we start thinking of robots and other hardware that is used in automation as digital assets that get connected by a software platform. Because as we all sit here today, the solutions to really bring us forward will not come from one company or one entity. And we also have to team up with the big companies of this world that have amazing IT solutions, thinking of Microsoft and NVIDIA. And I think having a platform that makes it easy for developers, for people that want to work with those robots to connect different pieces or different solutions with each other will be absolute key. And I think one additional aspect that I think is very critical to the platform aspect of this is to bring AI in a meaningful manner to industrial automation as we see it today. We will need high fidelity and highly synchronized digital twins. And you need a software platform for that as well, right? So that's the key aspects that I see there.
Yeah, and with that you need the data and the connectivity, which you mentioned before already. So all of that is part of the platform would be. So for us, the platform, it's everything around the automation solution, and we kind of, you said, it kind of, needs to be definitely more than one company, more than one provider to set the whole thing up together. For us, it's getting the pieces out of there which are really together are really value driving. So for us, it's the robot itself, it's our programming interface, and then it's so I would now call it quite narrow AI with kind of a computer vision system, bin picking system, which you can build on algorithmic basis, but you can also build them much faster and much versatile by now with AI, with learning and with training and neural networks. So the platform is really getting these value driving parts together and connecting them to make them easily work with each other and easily kind of rely on each other.
So maybe one additional aspect. For me, platforms is the essential key to enable others to be flexible and independent and not taking care of like too many complex technologies or topics. So especially when talking about AI, for me, it's all about the pipeline. I can claim my robot can identify every piece in the world. I'm not sure if this is necessarily true, especially regarding computational effort and so on and further. But if we have certain pipelines and enabling tooling everybody can use and can adopt this and that technology on his or her own requirements, then we are in a different game, I guess. Then we can seriously economically bring AI and technologies to the shop floor. And this is something platforms can enable and will enable and have to.
So you said we're on the right track. Thinking of economy and what's happening in Germany and Europe at the moment, are we on the right track on the bigger scale, looking outside of Germany, outside of existing customers? Are we ready for the market? Is that a mission to become faster, talking about the speed again? And do we need more investment and collaboration between startups like you in order to achieve goals which are maybe on a higher level? Who wants to give a point
maybe
on
I
that?
start with the base. Look at us, we like each other, right? We don't blame each other, and this is seriously, this is the base we need. I mean, if we blame each other in fields that we are not in, we fail, definitely. So this is the first. Then I pass it over.
So to the bad news, that there's
No.
definitely...
I guess we have several arguments in this context, but I just don't want to capture the entire answer. Yeah.
I think generally speaking, more speed and less risk adversity is good advice
Yes.
for us here in
And
Germany.
more
and
money.
And more money,
Okay.
definitely not a bad thing either. I think also we're probably not as bad as we sometimes make ourselves out to be, right? That there is amazing companies and innovation happening in Germany and Europe, and that has to be recognized. I think you touched on the key aspect of collaboration, and that's not just between us as we sit here. This is also us and the established players in the industry. It is very important that we have good cooperation with companies like Siemens, in our case with the robot manufacturers and other players in the industry. We will only bring this fundamentally forward as an industry, as an ecosystem, especially if we want to compete at a global level.
And us big companies like Siemens will live and breathe on your ideas and creativity and flexibility, because that's what often the medium and larger size companies don't bring to the table anymore, because it's long processes once you get bigger and bigger, what you guys don't have because you're super flexible. Now, talking about regulations in Germany, and I'm looking to you here, especially Alex. Developing Neura in a highly regulated environment, what are the most important lessons you have learned in Germany, and why have you kind of planned this, despite the fact that we have lots of regulations here?
Yeah, we have lots of, we are over-regulated, and it's really a pain sometimes, but in the end, we have the vision to just go ahead. We cannot develop always having in mind that we are building on regulations. If there are regulations coming up, we try to talk about the possibility, if we have less regulations or smart regulations, we are not against them. Totally not. If they are smart and help companies like us to scale, make errors, be flexible, change sometimes our ideas, our plans, then we are ahead of that. Do we build our humanoid robots right now based on some regulations that are not existing? It will take years that they are coming. And right now, if Siemens or so on asking for a humanoid in the factory, on what regulations are you basing? We are having our normal instincts. If the robot is falling on a human, this is the worst case. If the robot is harming a human, that's the worst case. So we're building our own regulations in there, let's say it like that. And therefore, maybe sorry to come back to the first question, are we on the right track? Yes, we are on the right track, also on regulations, but we are too slow and then too strict. That's really always the same, and in the end, the money is gone or limited. Or somewhere else.
Okay, we'll go into the question round in a few minutes, touching on the point of ROC's experience in all the usage here. Why are none of you involved in it?
Is it a question for us or
Or for rocks?
Oh, okay.
maybe we haven't simply not been in the right position at the right time? I mean, I don't know. I mean, we know each other quite well, I would say, especially the partners within ROCs. Maybe it has to be done quickly. I have no clue, because everyone is afraid of the US and China, and okay, let's build some companies together in order to rule the world again. I don't know, but I mean, it's hard to define the perfect partners for a roadmap in advance, especially in such topics. So my suggestion would be, leave it open. I mean, if there is a platform player popping up, why not, sorry to say, adding it to Intrinsic or Alphabet company, which is somehow, okay, I have to say it, which is somehow even explicitly mentioned on the ROC site, We stay independent of US and China. Okay, we built the entire technology on a platform, Intrinsic, which is an Alphabet company, which is quite prominent. So this is somehow strange.
Okay, so uncertainties here, I can sense.
Again, we love each other and so on and so forth, but we have to be, we have to tell everyone the truth. I suggest.
That's what we're here for. Okay.
So I think we're also open to it. It's more a question of timing and opportunity, right?
100%.
We prioritize very much around direct customer projects and requests. That's not something that has been very high on the demand list so far. So we haven't done that, but of course we could if we decide to do so.
Well, I think it's also about the upside. Some government funding programs, it's slow.
Okay.
Getting the money is pain in the
Yep,
yeah.
we got it.
Yep, exactly.
So when we're working with other companies to actually write applications for that, then it takes some shutdown pushes the budget into the next year. Nothing happens for 1.5 years, and then suddenly, oh, it's there. And what they say, you can't start with with developing before it actually starts or something like that. So there's all kinds of just regulations, which I like just, okay, keep your money, we do it somewhere else.
Okay, same
It's just a prioritization topic.
Okay, now, last final question here. If you had to bet on just one robotics application to redefine the world by 2030, which is not a long time anymore, 5 years, which one would each of one choose and why?
I don't think I would choose an application if that's okay. So I'll give a half answer.
Coming from your field?
I think so. Something that I've become more convinced of in the last couple of months is that in the next years, hopefully rather sooner than later, we will have something like a ChatGPT moment in robotics. Well, all of a sudden, everyone just sees it and gets it. Like when we all use ChatGPT for the first time, at least for me, and we're impressed that something fundamental has just changed. And I have become convinced that that moment will happen in a consumer or household environment, not in industry.
That's what we heard with Horst yesterday.
Yes.
I think he was also focusing on that. Yeah, who wants to?
So I strongly believe that robotics and technology and AI will lead to a better life even. And I don't see a disruptive application in industry. I mean, I'm with you. My dream is, but it's just my dream. Okay, my parents can live like 5 years longer in their own home environment thanks to robotics and technologies and AI and so on and so further. And this will, I guess, change the beautiness of our world.
And this is where Alex is nodding. I mean, this is
exactly
your story.
This is exactly what I was wanting to say. Exactly the same if I look at my parents, to have them home longer, taken care of. The application itself, there is not one. There will be not one. It will be the combination.
Okay, great. Paul?
Service robotics is going to be the game changer for sure. It will be having a robot, owning a robot will at some point probably be like owning a car, more or less. If I go, but 2030 and picking one application from our point, it would actually be an industrial one, which it would be assembly cases. Suddenly, you could be in manufacturing environments, go lights out. And pretty much do everything robotic. I don't think there's too many applications needed to do that, and I think assembly is one of the key ones.
I have to say, I'm really surprised because when I came here, like yesterday, I had not in mind that it would be so human-centric what we're going to talk about when we talk about robotics, but it somehow changes into that. And even yesterday when we talked about we need to find other markets, it was the entertainment and show industry where robots once of a sudden play a role, where you'd say, okay, I've been thinking of welding and producing something in the automotive industry and nothing like our daily lives, thinking of the the cookies and all those kind of things. And I learned something yesterday, even in the plant industry, there is a lot of robotics as well. So it's definitely in much more industries than you think of. And now I'm handing it over to you to ask our specialists, experts, innovators on stage. Any questions from the audience? Hey, come on, are you still there?
Thank you. All of you, in a way, reshaping the automation systems and robotic systems, mostly for factories, I believe. How do you see what will be fundamentally different in the factories in 10 years with inputs of yours? How it will look, where it will look really different, what we don't see right now?
So I think we will see many, many more tasks automated with different form factors of robots than we see today. I think my bet would be that we see less humanoids than we think we will see today, because other form factors might be more cost effective. And I think the integration and interoperability between those different systems will be fully automated and intelligent.
And in 10 years, the possibility is very high that we see way more dark factories out there in the future. So if the platforms, if the AI systems, if the robots succeed, then in the end, you will not have humans in the line anymore.
And I think also kind of the way how they look will be totally different, not just light out. Right now, when we talk about humanoids, when we talk about other form factors which might be on wheels, more suitable or better useful for industrial environments, it's still, in the beginning, they're going to work on tables which are in a height where it's ergonomic or it has been ergonomic for people to work on, where there's parts presented in areas where it was ergonomic for people to grip into and to get them out, because no one's going to be like this and change the whole thing. But gradually, I think within 10 years, for sure, we will see all the form factors change a lot from the whole embodiment and view. We don't, why? I mean, 2 arms, great thing, works. It's also a great thing to train machines if they have 2 arms, because we have 2 arms, so we can show them what to do. If we had 3 arms, how would we show a machine what to do with 3 arms? But at some point, they're going to figure out 3 arms might be faster. Maybe one huge one and a small one. So I think we're actually going to go quite a bit science fiction there in the future.
Yeah, not sure if we are already like at dark factory mode in 10 years, to speak open, because we have a lot more to consider, like energy and so on and so further. Anyway, I strongly believe that for sure we will see less service stuff in factories, because we are able to do remote maintenance, updating, Cyber Resilience Act stuff, and so on and so forth. So we don't have to send people via plane with a USB stick to update machines or to fix them. This will be for sure not the case in 10 years, because otherwise we all failed. Dark factory, maybe. Mixed field, not sure if we still have some humans running around. Yeah, because it's even fun, right? I mean, we have to look at ourselves as well. I mean, what do we want to do in the future? Is dark factory what we want, or is it like, okay, I want to go with my Segway through the production and check this and that? Maybe it's the case. I mean, let's see. But for sure, service stuff.
But we need to get, just fun fact, we just had a customer asking us, can we update via USB stick? No.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
But I like your claim in that case, automate the ordinary to have time for the extraordinary.
Exactly, yeah.
That pretty much plays it all. Any more questions from the audience? Oh, there's 2 more. There's one here and then to the back.
I have a question to Stephan. Actually, we are speaking about software-driven automation. How do you think about the security? The software which is running on the cloud, which is controlling the automation which is running on the factory, and how you convince a customer on the security point of view.
So it's a very good point. So in our case, we have to think about that twofold. There is a part of the software that needs a physical connection with the robot, at least in our case, because there's a real-time control component. So that normally happens on an edge device that is in an enterprise company network. So, security in that sense is taken care of. And then when it comes to the part that we can deploy in clouds, so away from the automation line, when we talk about enterprise customers, we normally have in-tenant deployments within the customer's infrastructure. So again, security aspects are taken care of by the general IT security measures and policies of the customer. And when we offer it as a service, then we purposefully build on enterprise-grade solutions from hyperscales like Azure or AWS. So again, it's not something that we have to take care of, but it's something we can use and provide.
There is one more question in the back, but I have a surprise for everyone. We have one question from our online audience. Yay! And the question is, Nordic countries are pushing to regulations which would introduce taxes for each robotic use in industrial environments. What do you think about that? Who wants to take it?
So we talked about being risk adverse and having less regulation. So, okay, it is what it is, and we'll find a way to deal with it. At the end, when you introduce things like that, my experience would tell me that it just increases prices.
Yeah, like we see with the tariff discussion.
What is the reason? What is the reason? Why do they want it?
Because your tax ain't work. Work will go away. That's the reason.
Yeah, but I mean, creating a more complex tax landscape, is this the solution or not? I mean,
talking about less bureaucracy. That definitely.
Then it's a small, big, medium-sized robot with different tax level, or fast, slow, medium. I mean, it sounds quite overwhelming.
Well, I think there's
in a negative way.
There's also one perspective on that. From our end, I talked earlier about this RaaS model being as a service, not paying, paying on a constant level, not paying CapEx one-off, and that, to be honest, this thought of taxing work, it kind of includes that, right? Because at the moment, you're taxing wages. If stuff is being deployed on an as a service model, there's taxes on there one way or the other. So I do not think that it's a good idea to put double taxes on that in our environment. But the idea behind it, I do get it from an economic, from societal standpoint.
And thinking of the tremendous amounts of robots we are planning for the future. I mean, that could be a lot of budget coming in, but on the other side, it's just getting more expensive, as you mentioned as well. And where we want to see the robots, like in private environments, we definitely would not be very happy about that.
In the end, if we lose out on labor force, we need to fill in the tax gap, for sure, in the future, but not now. Now we have to solve other questions.
100%.
If we're talking now about a regulation, a tax, that will be too early. Everyone is talking about losing jobs regarding robots. Now it's the best timing for politics to talk about it. It's the worst timing for us. In 10 years, where the landscape changes, then we can talk about that. Then maybe it makes sense. But right now, it makes no sense.
And we have a better overview as well of the market and the developments. And now I'm handing it over to the last question back there before we close this.
This one is more to lighten the mood and maybe have a little bit entertainment. You guys are from startups, and there's a myth going in the old companies that startups, they always are a really cool place to work. Maybe as a quick fire round.
True.
Can you guys instead, you say you're passionate, I think we can already feel that. Can you guys just give benefit, or what is the coolest thing about working in your startup?
I can start. So something very cool that we do.
Food baskets.
You have hoodies with
merchandise.
No, all that is true, but the cool thing that we've recently done is that we've obtained our first humanoid robot, a Unitree, and we've taught it to serve drinks to the customers that come over to look at our products, and that is very cool and very impressive.
Here's my application.
Jens, what's so cool to work with voraus robotic?
I mean, I guess for me it should be like quite common to have a kind of a playground for creativity, like decide with me, with us, decide together what's done next, what has a certain benefit, what is the purpose of what we are doing. So it's a kind of a feeling. Maybe it's because of our size. I mean, we are just like 40 employees, which is quite small in comparison to blue chip companies. But I guess even within blue chip companies, you have certain divisions where you can live your creativity and generate a certain purpose for you, your team, and everyone around. And this is, I guess, quite common in the startup scene, or it's a must even.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's cool to work for a startup. So
yes, it is.
Your personal.
Not every day.
Luckily, I'm chief of staff, and in the end, most of our people, if they come from blue chip, they realize something. Their work matters. So that's something which is for some people who come from Bosch, Porsche, or whatever. Suddenly, they see I have real impact into a company. I work for a vision. So we don't have food baskets. Oh no, we have fruit baskets. We don't have table soccer or something like that. But we have a vision which is too ambitious, which makes fun to work with. And suddenly, if I make a decision as a normal factory worker, someone else, suddenly it directly has impact. And this is what everyone loves and hates at the same time. But that gets them going.
Hugest point. For us, it's also growth and change. When you're at RobCo, at a startup, you're constantly experiencing growth. You got huge opportunities to grow yourself. Everything is changing constantly. Our whole structure, we're growing like crazy. That means processes are different one day for the other. And that also means if you're out there and don't want to have that, don't apply. If you do want that, if you want to grow, if you want to design growth, if you want to matter, then do apply, please.
Okay.
Great point.
Thank you. Thank you for your insights, expertise, for really having this as a fluent, open discussion. Great. And thank you for your questions, also to the one guy joining us online. So thank you so much. Big round of applause to our four musketeers.